This is the Unshadowed Thought Podcast with James Hall. This podcast is dedicated to Michelle Goyevich, Ed White, Caitlin Treacle, and I Chan, and also all the others that have lost their life as a direct result of psychiatric harms. Okay, day 14 hit the 2 week mark, and pretty much the same as yesterday. So I definitely, again, confirming that things have changed. My weight loss is really low. I'm losing like a pound every like 3 or 4 days. So I'm at like a half a pound or less per day that I'm losing. So I'm not, so that weight loss concern I had at the beginning, I'm losing a lot of weight rapidly, that's gone. um, that's not a concern. Definitely hit a plateau to where I feel like I'm just cruising now. I feel positive generally. I feel safe and secure, and nothing radical has happened the last few days. I have my own back pain that I'm dealing with. It didn't crop up during the fast. I mentioned several times. So I was kind of panicking about that yesterday and the day before. It was a bad scene, but I actually adapted the way I lay and the way I sit to where that pain's not growing. It seems to be diminishing now. So if I can keep that pain to an absolute minimum or get rid of it, I'll be good. Like, that's an issue that will not terminate the fast, or end up threatening it or just making things way harder, things like that. So that's a big positive for today. I'll just have to be, unfortunately, got to be diligent about that. I can't screw up and start just sitting or just laying like how people typically lay. I got to kind of like hit this right angle on my side when I lay. Can't lay flat on my back. And then when I sit, kind of sit on the sitting pad that gives my spine the freedom to kind of settle on its own instead of like getting pushed. I can't put pressure on my low spine, my back. So there's that. That's all good. Otherwise, I mean, still slow, still fatigued. I'm still tired, but it's not. I mean, it's kind of normalized now, right? It's not that bad. If I need energy, I got energy on demand. Like, I can get up and I can do stuff if I need to, but otherwise, I'm kind of sedentary, just relax, chill. I feel pretty good when I do that. So that's what I spend the majority of my time doing, as I should, according to literature and other stuff. I'm finding that lines up with what I'm experiencing and what my gut's telling me to do. So that's all good stuff. No complaints today. So week 2, I'm like halfway through the fast, halfway through my goal, anyways, to try to get to about 30 days. If I make it to 21, I'd be super stoked. But certainly I'd like to do 30 to 40, and we'll see. I mean, if everything kind of cruises from this point, I could really see myself getting there. Whereas in the past, at the beginning, I was like, there's no freaking way, because it was hard. Just more of a toll on my mind and body, stuff popping up, felt more erratic, more difficult, but it's definitely chilling now. Definitely more like a meditative, kind of calm, easygoing part of the fast. So not going to complain about that. And yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm not a lot to report, to be honest with you. I was like, I don't even know if I should keep doing podcasts if it's the same every day. But I'm gonna at least do like a 5-minute check-in and just speak my mind and check in and just verify. For any reason I didn't do it, it's because I would forget, and because it's so normal now, or things have normalized. So days are kind of starting to blend together a little bit. I kept thinking today was 13, but it's 14. I was kind of messing that up before, but because there's not a lot of big difference between days, you get kind of stuck on that. Yeah, so that's where we're at. again, I feel like my mind and my body are being changed in the fast in the same time. Still can't ruminate. My mind's just in this calm, serene state, staying there, wondering what that does for my neuroplasticity. If it's breaking, old bad mental habits, just staying in the serene state for, a long period of time, like 40 days of for your brain being forced to be in a calm state. I'm curious what that does for all those bad mental habits or whatever we had, um, in the past. I'm also curious. I'm sure I had some form of, nerve sensitivity and nervous system sensitivity as well that kind of played with the TMS issue and spurred from the TMS issue. So I'm curious of 40 days of a calm nervous system, what that would do to that, and how I'll end up and how I'll land. Some thoughts I had today that I was sharing with somebody. Yeah, so it's all promising stuff. I'm excited, happy with where I'm at the moment. So then I'll give some thoughts, just things that are going through my mind today, just to give you an idea where my head's at. Never really thought about this before, but I was kind of curious why. I've been reading some about the life of Musashi Miyamoto, which was a samurai in feudal Japan, super famous in Japan. Really incredible life. But reading about feudal Japan, like everything they did was based on, like character and virtue. And there's other periods in history and other groups that did the same thing that everybody really admires. Well, I think everybody really admires. Certainly some people don't. And maybe the answer to my question is because a lot of people don't, or not as many as I think. But I think everybody watched a superhero movie or something like that, and they're like, man, that guy's so, or that gal is so much character. They always follow through on their word. They're so honest. Like, you gotta love this character. And yet in school, we don't teach anything about character. We don't teach the kids the difference between right and wrong. We don't teach them, what it means to have integrity or virtue. We don't know what it means to stick up for your friends, stick up for yourself, to do what's right, even though it might cost you dearly. Self-sacrifice, even wisdom, like learning how to learn for yourself and acquire knowledge, and the difference between theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge. These kinds of things we don't teach them in school. I suppose this falls along the line of philosophy. Like maybe in some schools they get some version of it, right? But we don't tell kids this is what you should seek after. This is how you should endeavor to be, to better yourself and everyone around you. We just don't. And yet we enforce rules at the school that uphold those characteristics or set some kind of expectation to have character. And yet we don't explain to kids why we have those rules and why it's important that they follow the rules. So we have this expectation of children, and largely ourselves, like this can all be extrapolated to adults as well. But we don't teach them about it or train them about it, or certainly with any kind of diligence. We rely on parents to do that, I suppose. That's the illusion, or that's what we allude to anyways, but there's no obligation for the parent to do that except for to avoid discipline. Is that for the children? Is that really what we expect to drive the most important fundamental endeavor of a person, to have character and to do the right thing in the face of hardship? Something I was thinking about today. I don't get that. Why is that missing? Why are we more concerned about science and math and literature than our character? Because one of those things will keep yourself and everything together. The others don't have any intrinsic value. Passing classes, getting an even advanced degree, science, math, literature, or or anything else, it won't do anything for you. It won't get you a job. It won't better your situation. It will do zero for you. It will do absolutely nothing for you. But your character will allow you to leverage that knowledge and that degree to affect. And that is how people get good jobs and make money or successful, right? Or I should be careful what I say. A certain amount of character, right? A lack of character can also achieve the same purpose, right? Which I think goes to illustrate my point even more. People need to be very clear on what good character is, right? Because someone can lie, cheat, and steal their way through school and then apply those in the workplace as well and be just as successful at the same thing. How do you know this? I know it because I've seen it. I've met people that are lying cheats in executive management. That's all they freaking know how to do. And they do it incessantly. Politicians, seeing that, very successful, lots of money, lots of success, but you never hear a true word that comes out of their mouth, and they backstab and deceive anyone that they can, right? We have an environment, because there is no standard measure of character that allows these things to take place, and no one can argue one way or the other, and there's no standard, and some people love them and some people hate them. They say, oh, that guy's so cool, he gets away with everything, right? Where in the past they'd probably be drawn and quartered or something, so something I was thinking about today, just this isn't making sense, right? So why do we have any expectation of goodness for our country when there is no standard for character and what's right and what's wrong? I would argue that we can't have any standard of it. So when people are perplexed why millions of people are dying from medication use and abuse, and then a medical device complications, lots of other stuff, there's no standard there. You can say that farm's horrible, they do this horrible stuff, right? But there's no standard to measure by. What the law is not a measure of character. The law is saying you can do this or you can do that. But guess what? I absolutely guarantee you, if you give me a law governing what I can and can't do, and I'm in industry, I will find a way around that law to accomplish my goals, even though they're harmful to others and they exploit others. I will find a way to accomplish that without violating the law. Not only is it not particularly difficult to do, regardless of the language of the law, but I've seen it done over and over and over and over and over again by others. You can't take someone with an infinite budget, right, an endless budget, and say, accomplish this goal, make more money, don't violate the law, don't worry about hurting anybody. You can't, accomplish that, right? Like they'll get it every time. They will find someone that knows how to do it. They'll find a way to do it. They'll go offshores and do it. There's a million and one ways to do it, right? It's just logistical, and they'll figure out the logistics. They'll make it cost efficient, and they'll do it. And so this is just fundamental. And you have a fundamental problem in the US, and our government does so many things and has so much money and people involved in it, and yet they can't fix fundamental problems. How effective could they possibly be? I'd argue that they can never be effective again. They'll never be effective at anything ever again, because they can't address fundamental problems. Or if there's a glaring problem that needs attention, it cannot be addressed in a timely and efficient manner. It'll take 20 years to address that, and it won't be addressed fully, and it won't be addressed effectively. So that's it. That's where we're at. really sad state of affairs. And if you look at it, if you take the time to observe it and to learn from it, there is a lot to be learned about it. But the more you learn, the better equipped you are. Handle yourself, handle your own situation, and make good decisions. There's an answer for all of us individualistically, but I mourn for the group and for the people that I love and for the government that I love and for the Constitution that I think is wonderful. Right? I mourn for the abuses against all these greater things that don't have to be. But individualistically, I'm grateful for my own opportunity to understand and to grow from this stuff and then come up with my own answers. Yeah, some interesting thoughts popping through today. But I think that's it for now. Thanks for tuning in, and take it easy. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll start my third week. Friday's my Monday, I guess, or yeah, the podcast is on a little bit of a delay, but that's where I'm at. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.